Hi guys, thanks for joining me. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am Vivien Chen, author of the Noodle Shop Mysteries. I haven't gotten to use this platform very much since I started it. Maybe it's been like 2 months now, but I wanted to create a video for today, and it was meant to be a update video on my social media for Instagram and Facebook. And then I thought maybe I would upload it onto YouTube, depending on how it turned out, if it was appropriate, lengthy enough, and so on. It turned out to be too lengthy for Instagram. So now this is going to become a YouTube video, and I'm mushing the two together. Basically, it is me giving an update on things going on in my life currently, whether it be with health or my recent trip to New York for the Edgar Awards. So I hope you enjoy the video. Hi guys, happy Saturday. I have been up since 5 a.m. I promptly fell asleep when I got home yesterday. I planned on ordering takeout. Didn't even make it to that step. Fell asleep with all the lights on, woke up. No clue if it was AM or PM, where I was. It was just one of those moments. And it was much needed rest. It has been a long week. Both exciting and exhausting and overwhelming. After I made myself a large cup of coffee, of course, I broke out my journal, I started writing, and then I started to post some things onto Instagram and Facebook with the intention of getting everything out today. I wasn't able to post really while I was there because everything just felt like too much, and not having to worry about my phone was helpful. So I'm kind of catching up for lost time. While I was doing that, I was reading through all the comments and all the encouragement, which I want to say thank you to everyone for all of that. It means so much. And my readers rooting for me to win, of which now we know I did not. It was very nice to look through all of the comments nonetheless. And it also sparked me to have one of my message of the day moments where I feel like I need to tell a thought and someone needs to hear it someplace, somewhere, at least one person. And I think I might also post this one to my YouTube channel. So if I do, welcome to my channel. I am Vivien Chen. I will be your host. So anyways, it was quite the week. The thing that struck me that I wanted to really talk about was not winning, disappointment, FOMO, and for anybody who's not familiar, fear of missing out, and also like outward appearances, I guess. I've been struggling with that phrase. I have made this video. This is now the 6th time. Not all of them went the full way. So far, the first one is the best. Maybe you will end up seeing that one and you'll never even know this one existed. But I've been struggling through the message a little bit, and I think part of that has to do with my chemo brain. That's always the last symptom to go. So for anybody who's going through that, you know, that happens and it's normal and it's okay. I feel like a lot of my messages lately have been about being okay, and it being okay to not be okay, which my best friend just sent me a plaque that says that on there. And I love that because I try and embody that and remember it. I feel that the person that I was before I went through what I've gone through, very much worried about everything looking a certain way. Not to say that I don't still fall into that, because I do. I'm no saint. And a lot of the stuff that I talk about, I'm often still learning myself. But I wanted it to tie in the outward appearance thing. I wanted to tie into the trip, and I wanted it to tie into not winning and disappointment, and all of those pieces kind of mush together. And then you can make sense of it however it applies to you for what you need. So, like I said, I did not win the Lillian Jackson Braun Award. It was disappointing. And I feel that that's okay and a normal response to have. I feel like towards ourselves and towards others, we never want that. You know, we don't want that for ourselves, and we don't want that for other people. We don't want them to be disappointed. And I feel like in society, it is very normal to have the stiff upper lip mentality, the buck up, you'll get them next time, or at least, you know, the consolation platitude, well, at least you got nominated, or at least you got to do this, which is all true. And I want to say that first so I can get to the meat of it and my point. But I am very honored to have been nominated. To be nominated at all is something of a great feat because of the amount of books that the judges have to go through is monumental. It's a task that I don't think I could ever take on myself. So just to make it into the top 5 is amazing and excellent. With the book of, this is my favorite child. I'm just going to say it. Miss Fortune Cookie is my favorite child. And it always will be. It'll be a very important book to me. So that was really great. And I am so thankful for that. I am so thankful that I got to go on the trip, that I got to see New York City, and all of that is fine and great. But I also want to stress that it's okay to also have disappointment aside from all of the good stuff. A while back, my therapist said something very smart to me, and it's not a new concept, but I feel like it's a concept we don't really think about in depthly. I was talking to her about some emotional struggles that I was having. And I was telling her, on one hand, I feel this positive emotion. And on this other hand, I feel this negative emotion. And it really bothered me. I felt conflicted. And she said the simplest thing to me. She said, both can be true. And I don't think about things like that in that way. Not right off the cuff anyways. Like maybe you think about it later. But both can be true. And I felt like that's really important to honor that for yourself and for other people. There's a certain validation that comes along with somebody saying, it's okay, and leaving it just like that. I know we all want to be happy all the time, but I don't think that that's reality. And I shouldn't even say I think, I know that that's not reality. But I feel like a lot of people put that pressure on themselves. And I've read a lot of articles in recent history that are talking about the impact that social media is having on the younger generation and the pressure that they feel to be things like Insta-ready, Insta-perfect. There has to be an aesthetic to everything. What is your brand? What is your brand colors? Oh my God, you have to have it all. And, you know, not everybody is on social media to have a brand. And not everybody has to. And not everybody has to have an aesthetic. And not everybody has to be Insta-ready at all times. I think one of my greatest challenges has been to come on here without makeup, without hair, and to just be who I am and be what I'm going through. When I first started this journey of cancer stuffs, I didn't really think I would do any of this, you know? And in some people, showing your problems, airing your dirty laundry is in poor taste. Why are you showing that? Well, because it's real. And there's somebody out there who needs to know that. This is real life. It's not all perfect. It's not all picturesque. And that's okay. And we have to allow one another to have that. While I was away in New York, it gave me an opportunity to think about things and be out of the box that I've been in for the past couple of months. My whole life has revolved around surgery and, some form of treatment. And I think that it was much needed for me to get away from here and not live in that place of being ill. I feel like my eyes just crossed because I saw a message pop up on my phone. You guys, this might get really interesting because I've been struggling with chemo brain so much today. And I've made this video so many times, but whatever, we're moving on. I'm not doing it again, okay? So anyways, my point is that I actually lost my point. So this is real life too, okay? I'm just going to leave it. Going on this trip, I got to have those moments of seeing myself outside of this place that I've been keeping myself in. I'm not keeping myself there intentionally, but it's just kind of par for the course that, I'm going through treatment. It was weekly. This is what I'm going through. There are people who have to go through that daily. And my hat's off to you. It's a lot. And so I got to put some things in perspective and realize about myself that there are more things that I can do, that I was living in this place of like, I can't. 2 days before I left for the trip, I went to Kohl's. And it's 2 floors. By the time I got to the 2nd floor, I was exhausted. And I thought, how am I going to walk New York? New York is a walking city. And I had to accept the fact that I was going to have low stamina and be okay with that. I would love nothing more to have come back and said that it was the most amazing trip. I had a great time and every moment was perfect. And, it was the time of my life. But that's not reality. The reality of it was I had very great moments and I had some not great moments. One of those not great moments was not winning that award. What was really nice is my friend that came with me, she was like, let's go take a moment, like let's step outside. And I did that and I got to have my feelings and I'm so appreciative to her for that, giving me that moment and realizing how important doing that is. I feel like, and I probably already said this, that we glaze over things that are not of the positive nature. It's looked down upon to have those feelings. Don't say it. Don't complain. Be happy for what you do have. And I grew up like that. I think most of us did. Feeling like that isn't okay to express what you are feeling and that it is a multifaceted experience. You are going to have good with the bad. And I think that as a society, it would be best in all of our interests to normalize that and to say, you know what? This one thing sucked, but these other cool things happened and they all happened. And it's all part of the journey. And I said that a couple of times while I was making this video, that it's the journey, not the destination. And I feel like that is true. I feel that I used this trip, the idea of it, to get through something very difficult. And every week when I would go through treatment, I would say, you're gonna rock this. You have to, because you're going to New York when it's over. And, I convinced myself that that's what I was going to do the whole time. So I feel like it's important to say to anybody who is going through maybe something similar, that find something to tether yourself to look forward to, because you are going to beat whatever it is that you're going through. I know that sometimes things don't look that great when you're in it, and it's hard to see. And I feel like that's what New York had given me, is an opportunity to see, to be like, oh, you are stronger than you think. You can do more than you thought. Like I said in my previous video, the past couple of weeks have been really difficult. It went from being not that bad to like a punch in the face to I can't get out of bed, and I was wondering if I would be able to make the trip at all. But I rallied myself and I got there. And then I experienced some disappointment. And, nobody wants that. Like I said, I think I said that. You guys, this is going to be, I appreciate all of you for putting up with this right now. But, I was disappointed and I wanted to feel that in that moment because I felt like it was important for me to feel it so I could move on from it. A lot of the people that I've listened to their podcasts or I've read their books, a lot of them talk about the same concept that I want to bring up, which is it's about the bounce back. It's okay to fall down. What's important is that you get back up. You got to get back up. What happens when you fall down? It happens to everybody. All of these people out there, that's not the first picture that they took. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think you know what I'm saying because I'm sure that you've had to experience that too. It's not the first picture that you took. It's not the first video that you made. You probably had to take 2, take 3, 4, 5. Like me, I'm in my car for 40 minutes trying to make one video that's 11 minutes long. Like when I left Malice last year, oh my gosh, I was in the car forever, stumbling on my words or whatever. But it's not always going to be perfect. And we don't always get to see that on the other side. We see the finished product. And I could go through all the platitudes of don't compare yourself to, your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 30. I don't know. Just make up an arbitrary number, or, like you don't see what goes on behind the scenes. And I think that that's important to remember. But I really wanted to talk about normalizing those feelings that come along with it. And the bounce back is where it all happens. It's, okay, so I had to get through chemo. It was rough. Then I went to New York. I wanted to win that award. I didn't win it. And I was upset. And that's okay. And we're busying ourselves with the concept of, well, let's get away from that as soon as possible. Let's just okay, we're up and we're done and we're good. And all of these cover it up situations of okay, well, I'm not upset about that and that's fine. But it's not fine, and I think the faster that we acknowledge that, the faster we can get over something. We spend a lot of time brushing that stuff away or not wanting to feel it or feeling guilty about feeling it. And, it's what happens. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about when I made the other videos is gone. It's there obviously in that video, but it's gone. And the sentiment has kind of changed as I've continued on. The one thing that I do want to do is to say I wanted the experience to be what it needed to be. That was my biggest outcome. Whatever was supposed to happen was meant to happen. And I had to tell myself that before I left, for the trip. I said, whether or not you win, you needed this for one purpose or another to show you something that you need and you just can't see it right now, whatever it may be. If I had won, those would have come with different feelings. Having not won, same thing. You don't know, but you needed the whole thing. You can't really pick and choose. Well, you can, but that's not the reality of it. There are the messy parts. And after it was over, I looked at my speech and I read it to my friend. She was kind enough to allow me that moment. But when I was journaling this morning and doing all of the things, the process, I thought this message, part of the message, still applies. And I wanted to really share it, especially with my readers, because I feel like a lot of you have shared your stories with me, and things that you've talked about on your journeys of whether it be your health or personal relationships or something like that. And so I want to read part of this to you, because I feel like it comes into my message. So here we go. So of course at the beginning it was thanking everybody, including you guys. Sorry, I'm so uncomfortable in this chair. Okay. So then I go down a little bit and I say, as a kid, I dreamed of being an author, but I never imagined in the wildest of those dreams that I would one day be here in New York, for something that I'd written. Okay. So then here's where we go from that. Much less under the current circumstances that I've found myself under. When thinking about what to say, I thought about what it took for me to get here in this very moment. That still applies. Oh my God, the phone almost died. You guys, okay, whatever, we're going. So in this moment, the Rolling Stones came to mind. Their famous lyrics, "You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need." Misfortune Cookie is and always will be a very important book to me. I used it to propel myself forward after receiving treatment a second time for ovarian cancer, getting lost in the narrative, and using the arduous task of creating a story to recover from chemo brain, and to find a sense of normalcy once again. And still this beloved book follows me, continuing to propel me forward. You see, I received news of the nomination shortly before beginning chemotherapy a third time, this time for breast cancer. And the idea of making this trip and winning this award, which I didn't win, encouraged me to push past treatments, side effects, and whatever else would be thrown at me. Now I have to tweak this little part here. With that being said, I'd like to dedicate this nomination to the people out there who have battled the same. Keep fighting the good fight. Remember that you are stronger than anybody knows, and that this little gal is rooting for you. And I have one last part, but I'll save it for the end of this video. So I felt like that still applied, and that the Rolling Stones said it perfectly. You don't always get what you want, and that's okay. I was able to have a moment away from my everyday life and the things that I've been going through. I experienced disappointment as part of that journey. That's okay. People ask me my advice a lot about going through the cancer journey. What do you need? What can I do to help? Or like in reference to like their own people, not necessarily me, but like, what is it that you need that I can then relay that area of expertise? I don't really know how you want to say it, but so that it will help their family member or their friend. The biggest thing I want to say is this applies to going through cancer and not. Allow people to have their feelings and validate it, because that helps them. Sometimes you need that. It's good though, not like I'm learning a lot about myself through this whole process, and I believe that I'm going through this for a reason. Not everybody thinks that. And I don't want you to feel like you have to think that. Like if it just sucks, then it just sucks. But I feel like I'm going through this for a reason. And one of the things that I've learned is that the things that start with self are the most important. Self-acceptance, self-worth, self-esteem, self-validation. And while all that's good and fine, and you really should rely on those types of things, and you really should rely on self-validating yourself, there's nothing wrong with wanting a little bit of validation from somebody else. Don't necessarily depend on it though. I'm still figuring all that stuff out. But sometimes it helps when other people validate you without adding a nicety, a platitude, and just say, I'm sorry you're having a hard time. Allowing people to have their emotions. I didn't know, like, when I went through this, what holding space meant. I had to learn it. And that's one of the things that's really important for people. And a cancer patient, especially, is just to say, I'm sorry you're going through that, and leave it. Just leave it. I know you want to say all the other things. I know you want to be like, but at least this and at least that. And like, just leave it. Just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're going through that. And, my friend did that for me that evening. She just let me. I mean, I cried. I'm not going to lie. I cried. And I didn't cry because I didn't win. I cried for myself because of everything that I've been through. And I was just tired. And I was like, you know what? Just let this out. Like, let it out. It is 11 weeks past due. Maybe more weeks than that. But I let myself cry. And my friend comforted me. And she said, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that you're sad. And it was really nice. And I appreciate her for that so much because she didn't try and make it better. And a lot of times I know people want to do that for everyone, but sometimes you can't make it better in the way that you want. And it is a really difficult thing to learn. I am not good at it. I know that I've done that to people. Well, at least this, and like, at least you have your health. I mean, in my instance, that's like a sketchy phrase to say, but I do have my health. And I also want to bring that up really quick because I feel like there was a lot of misunderstandings with some of my last videos. So I'll just throw that in really quick. I actually have been cancer-free since my surgery. I had one tumor and they removed it completely. So I didn't actually have cancer going into chemotherapy, which I know does not make any sense to a lot of people. It probably makes sense to other cancer patients. But if you haven't ever dealt with cancer in your life, I know that probably sounds weird. Why would you go through chemotherapy if you didn't have cancer at all? Well, the reason is because they're worried about microscopic cells. They're worried about anything they can't see. And your system getting any funny ideas. Like you got rid of the tumor, but what else is there? And so that's what the chemotherapy is. It's a precaution. I had hoped that because I was stage 1, that it wasn't going to go down this way. I was hoping less treatment. But because of my history, because of the strain being on the aggressive side, they decided that the full course of treatment was what was going to happen. 12 weeks of chemo, 1 year of immunotherapy, 5 years of the magical pill that I can't think of what it's called. If you know, you know. But, yeah, I can't think of it to save my life. So I just wanted to bring that up. I appreciate everybody's, well wishes and everything. A lot of people were concerned, wondering if I was going to beat it. It's already beaten in my eyes. These are just necessary steps that I have to take in order to be of sound mind. Also, on a very exciting, I don't know, I can't think of the word, exciting note, on a different note. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's been 2 years that I've been cancer-free from the ovarian portion. I got a really great scan a couple of months ago, and I made a video in the parking lot that I never shared um, because I got some overwhelmed with some other stuff. So my oncologist had decided that as far as the ovarian cancer has gone, I had come to a mark where they felt more secure about reoccurrence not happening. The first 2 years after are the most critical, and I made it out. And so with that portion, I am 100% happy and relieved. I'm relieved to be through the chemotherapy, and the immunotherapy isn't supposed to be as bad. We will see what goes on for the next year. It will be every 3 weeks, so it's less intense of a treatment. And I can start to regain some normalcy in my life, and also my hair will start to grow back, which I can't wait for that. I'm telling you guys, I can't wait. So anyways, to wrap all of that up, because this is getting kind of on the longer side, we all know that I'm long-winded. Why do I even pretend like it's going to be fast? I appreciate anyone who's still watching. So my whole point is the bounce back. That's important. Allow yourself to have those moments. Allow others to have those moments. I think if we did that, it would make it a little bit easier, and we'd be more accepting, and there would be less pressure on us to always be perfect. Perfection really is just something else totally. It really trips people up a lot, I think. So I think that that's important, the bounce back. Allowing ourselves to have those feelings, allowing others to have those feelings, and it being okay. What else? There was something else I wanted to tell you guys. I can't think of what it is. I've had so many distractions today. It's really hard for me to keep my attention. I'm doing okay, though, because a lot of people asked, and I'm definitely feeling the effects of the treatment, for sure. It's better than it was. I know I could be way worse off. I feel like I'm doing pretty good considering it's been 2 weeks. And I definitely needed a break from the treatment either way, if it was ending or not. So I'm looking forward to moving forward. And I have many exciting things coming, which I will share. I also have to post more pictures and stuff from New York. But like I said, I wanted to stop everything and do this. And then I also want to tell you guys something else, because whoever's listening that's left, I have a short story coming out in May. I haven't got to tell anybody about it yet. Some of you have seen it already. Some of you have emailed me about it and asked, what is this? It's called Gone to Hot Pot, and it is going to be an e-short, meaning it will just be electronic. It is a sideways timeline. So a lot of people, when Miss Fortune Cookie came out, a lot of people were surprised that it took place in Irvine, California, and they were sad because they missed the usual suspects. And that's not why I ended up doing the e-short. There were, it was something to have in between the two publications. Because at the time, we weren't sure if Peking Duck can cover. No, that's not true. That was the original idea way back, and then it got pushed. So things have changed. Just ignore me. Anyways, it's a sideways. This story is super fun. I got to be a little silly in it, which I liked. And it is from the viewpoint of Megan, Lana's best friend. And Megan and Kimmy Tran have to work together in order to solve a mystery. And it's very fun. And it takes place at the time that Lana's away in Irvine. So you kind of get to see what was going on at home. I'm going to post the cover pretty soon. It is, I'll have to do some links too. It is available in many different places that support ebooks. So that will be coming out May. I want to say that it's May 21st, but don't quote me on that. But it will be coming out shortly, and I'm super excited about it, and I hope you guys like it. It was so fun to write from Megan's perspective. I haven't done that yet, and it was really a lot of fun to see what everyone was up to behind Lana's back. That was cool. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyways, this is long enough, and I hope that whoever you are, the message that you needed to hear today for whatever you're going through, I hope you found it. Don't beat yourself up so much for getting sad, I guess. That's what I want to say. It's like a wrap it up situation is I have these moments where I say to myself stuff like, I really want to be happy right now. Like I said it to my friend when we were in New York. I said, I really want to be enjoying this. You know, I want to appreciate this moment. And I did appreciate the whole trip. But there were points, you know, like I said, where I was disappointed. Allow yourself that. I think that you'll be the better for it in the end. Just don't forget to pick yourself back up. That's all. So with that being said, the end of my speech is something that you guys already know. And that is that if nobody told you today, you look absolutely amazing. So, okay, there it is. Take care, guys.